Hi, today we're going to discuss on ancient Indian history, Mauryan Empire. These are a series of topics which are very important for your ancient Indian history syllabus. We'll see some of the MCQs and cover the entire syllabus through MCQs, multiple choice questions. Who among the following rulers advised his subjects through this inscription? Father and mother must be obeyed. Similarly, respect for living creatures must be ensured. Truth must be spoken. These virtues are the law of duty which must be practiced. Similarly, the teacher must be reverenced by the pupil. Proper courtesy must be shown to relations. 1. Sabdragupta. 2. Harshavardhana. 3. Zain al-Abidin. 4. Ashoka. Now, if you see the question actually talks about Ashoka Dhamma. So, the answer for this question must be Ashoka. Ashoka's minor edict, part 2, says this statement. Hence, that's why option 4 is correct. Now, let us go a very quick view of who Ashoka was and where does he belong to. Ashoka was actually the third most important emperor of the Mauryan Empire. He was the son of Bindusara. Ashoka ruled approximately from 272 BC to 232 BC. Most important event of Ashoka's life was the Kalinga War, which was fought between 268 BC to 261 BC. Ashoka is also known as Devanampiya or Piyadasi. Let us see the next question. Which book was written by Vishakadatta in Gupta period but gives an account of how Chandragupta Maurya defeated Nandas with the help of Chanakya, besides throwing light on socio-economic conditions? Kautilya's Arthashastra, Mudra Rakshasam, Indica and Buddhist literature. Among the four options, Mudra Rakshasam by Vishakadatta is actually the book which tells us the story of how Chandragupta Maurya was able to successfully overthrow the Nanda Empire. In approximately 324 BC, it was Dhanananda, the last Nanda king, who was actually ruling Pataliputra. Dhanananda had not been a great ruler. So, Chandragupta Maurya along with Chanakya slowly, sequentially invaded the Nanda dynasty, and how they did this is all mentioned in this book, Vishakadatta's Mudra Rakshasam. This book is actually about the court intrigues. The court intrigues of Chandragupta and Chanakya. How Chanakya and Chandragupta were able to slowly get rid of the rule of Dhananandas. Hence, the answer is Mudra Rakshasam, written by Vishakadatta. When we talk about the Mauryan Empire and the Mauryan dynasty, there are some of the most important sources of history, particularly about the Mauryans. This has been consistently asked in different exams, particularly in your prelims. Indica, the book was written by Megasthenes, who was actually a Greek traveler in the court of Chandragupta Maurya. Megasthenes was an ambassador of Seleucus Nicator. Megasthenes' book talks about 7 castes existing in Pataliputra, also complete and total absence of slavery, and absolutely non-existence of practice of money lending. Remember, according to Megasthenes, there was no money lending in the Mauryan Empire. That does not mean that there was no money lending. Megasthenes did not probably understand the society. Similarly, another important source is Arthashastra, the book of statecraft. Book of statecraft, which actually talks about the economic and the political conditions of the Mauryan state. This was written by Kautilya. Kautilya is also called Chanakya or Palibrotus. 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 Another book, Parishishta Parvam, which is a Jain book, talks about how Chandragupta Maurya embraced Jainism and encouraged Jainism. It was written by Hemachandra. And Buddhist literature, the fourth option which was there in the previous question, was actually the Jataka tales. Jataka tales are basically storybooks which talk about Buddha, Buddha's teachings, Buddha's life and Buddha's contributions. Apart from that, Kaumudi Mahotsavam by Vajikas, Dvipavamsam, Mahavamsam are also two most important books which actually talk about Buddhism and impact of Buddhism and how Buddhism encouraged during this period. All of these talk about Mauryan kingdom, Mauryan empire. Mudra Rakshasam by Vishakadatta, which was the answer, and there are also cave inscriptions which talk about how Ashoka also encouraged Ajivikas in the Mauryan state. Next question. Consider the following statements with respect to the Mauryan king Bindusara. Greeks called him with the name Amitraghata. Bindusara did not extend the Mauryan empire and most of the Indian peninsula was out of his control. Bindusara received Dimachus as the ambassador of the Syrian king Antiochus I. Which of the following statements is or are correct? When you're reading prelims questions, when you're reading multiple choice questions, be very, very aware about the correct, incorrect options. Often you may get confused between correct and incorrect. It's very important for you to understand that. So, what are the options? Options 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, 1, 2 and 3. See, Bindusara did not extend the Mauryan empire is definitely a wrong option without an confusion, because Bindusara extended the kingdom just like his father Chandragupta Maurya. So, answer is statement 1 is correct, and Bindusara was called by Greeks as Amitraghata. Sometimes he was also known as Amitrokatos or Amitrokryptos. He was also called Amitrokatos or Amitrokryptos. In Mauryan state, Chandragupta Maurya becomes the most important king about whom you have to know. Chandragupta Maurya established a very strong centralized kingdom and a centralized state. He liberated the northwest from the Greek rule. He was the father of Bindusara, and he fought with Seleucus Nicator, regarding whom I told you had an ambassador called Megasthenes. In his court, Megasthenes wrote the book Indica. He married, Chandragupta Maurya also married Helena, the daughter of Seleucus. Chandragupta Maurya belonged to the Mora clan or the Maurya clan of Pipalivana, and he strongly followed Jainism. Chandragupta Maurya was a follower of Jainism. Chandragupta Maurya has also been called Sandrokotos, Sandrocryptos, Vrishala, Mauryaputra, Piyadasi, Simhasena. Different names have been called, different names. Chandragupta Maurya's son, regarding whom this question is all about, is Bindusara. Bindusara ruled from 297 BC to 272 BC. He was the son of Chandragupta Maurya, also called Amitraghata. Bindusara was the son of Chandragupta Maurya, regarding whom this question has been all about. He is also called Amitraghata, destroyer of foes, or the one who does not have any enemies. Bindusara is also commonly known as Simhasena, just like his father. Chandragupta Maurya also had the same name, Simhasena. He is also called Bindupala, Alithrocratos, Amitrocratos, different names. Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara's father, founder of the Mauryan Empire, followed Jainism. Bindusara, son of Chandragupta Maurya, second king in the Mauryan Empire, followed Ajivika Dharma. Bindusara's son, Ashoka Maurya, followed Buddhism. Remember these three things. You may get confused in the prelims questions. So, Chandragupta Maurya, Jainism. Bindusara, Ajivika. Ashoka, Buddhism. Bindusara is also commonly known as the king who conquered the land between the two seas. Two seas is Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. This land, the Deccan region. He is believed to be the guy who actually conquered the land between the two seas. Next question. Consider the following statements. Ashoka belonged to the Mauryan Empire, Mauryan dynasty. King Ashoka is also known as 𝗓𝗏𝗪𝗑 or 𝗓𝗑𝗪𝗪. Special officers appointed by Ashoka to spread the message of Dhamma were called 𝗓𝗏𝗪𝗪. Which of the following statements is or are? It's calling for incorrect. Not correct options, but incorrect. It's asking for incorrect. So here, 1 only, 2 only, 3 only, none of the above. The answer will be 3 because the special officers who were appointed by Ashoka to spread Dhamma were known as Dhamma Mahamatta or Dhamma Mahamatras. Since the question is asking incorrect, answer will be 3. During Ashoka's period, Ashoka has ruled from 269 to 232 BC. He was the son of Subhadrangi and Bindusara. His word literally means the one who ended the sorrow, Ashoka. He crushed the revolts in Takshila and Ujjain during his father's rule. He also won the Kalinga War, which he fought from 268 BC to 261 BC. And after Kalinga War, Ashoka sent missionaries to Asia. Particularly, he sent his son Mahendra and daughter Sanghamitra to Sri Lanka to spread the idea of Buddhism. He appointed Dhamma Mahamatras, the officers who actually spread Dhamma. He followed Buddhism, gave up war, started public works and charity, also followed Ahimsa. There is also one point which has consistently come in prelims and students tend to do mistake is Ashoka followed Dhamma, Ashoka followed Buddhism, but this was Ashoka Dhamma, different to Buddha Dhamma. Similarly, Ashoka was not part of any one particular Buddhist Sangha or one particular Buddhist school. While Hinayana Buddhists, Mahayana Buddhists claim Ashoka to be their followers, Ashoka did not belong to any one particular Buddhist school. He was generic Buddhist. He is also called Devanam Piyadasi Ashokavardhana. Bhagavad Purana calls him Ashokavardhana. There are different names. Musky edit calls him Buddha Sakya Ashoka. Sarnath inscription calls him Dhamma Ashoka. 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗁, Mahavamsam, the books of Sri Lanka, very important books of Sri Lanka Buddhism, call him Devanam or Piyadasi. Ashoka's mother was Subhadrangi and he had few wives. Mahadevi was the most important wife. Mahadevi's son is Mahendra, who spread Buddhism to Sri Lanka. Asannimitra, Padmavati, we know the names, not much is known about them. Tissarakita was another wife who's known to have attempted to cut down and burn down the Bodhi tree. Karuvaki gave the queen edict. She is the mother of another son of Ashoka called Tivara. Queen edict. Queen edict becomes important because among Ashoka's wives, Karuvaki was the only one who gave an inscription herself. Ashoka is also known to have occupied almost the entire Hindu Kush, from Hindu Kush, which is Afghanistan, up until Bengal in India. His allies were Chola, Pandya, Chera in the south. Ashoka declares them as allies. He did not try to occupy them. His contemporary are Antiochus II in Syria, Ptolemy II in Egypt, Antigonus in Macedonia, and Magas in Libya. This has been asked in previous year questions multiple times. Please remember these. And Ashoka, as I said, has also fought the Kalinga War from 268 BC to 261 BC. It is believed that Upagupta was the Buddhist monk who converted Ashoka from Ashoka's Ajivika belief to Buddhism. 𝗕𝗵𝗵𝗁 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧, the Sri Lankan books say it was Nigrodha. 𝗕व्‍යवदना, another Buddhist book says it was Samudra. So, three names are given to the same person: Upagupta, Nigrodha, Samudra. So, depending on the options, if 𝗕𝗵𝗵𝗁 𝗧𝗦𝗔𝗧 is there, you should select Nigrodha. If 𝗕व्‍යवदना is there, you should select Samudra. Upagupta, in general, we believe is the monk who actually converted Ashoka to Buddhism. Next question. Ashoka's minor rock edicts were found in different parts of India. Which of the following is not a spot of Ashoka's minor rock edicts in Karnataka? 𝗧𝗏, 𝗪𝗏, 𝗏𝗏, Brahmagiri. 𝗧𝗏, everybody knows, very popular, is in Karnataka. The answer is 𝗏𝗏. 𝗏𝗏 inscription is actually in 𝗪𝗏𝗗 Hills, Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh. 𝗧𝗏 inscription is actually in Raichur district of Karnataka. 𝗪𝗏 is in Koppal district of Karnataka. Brahmagiri inscription is also in Chitradurga of Karnataka. So, 𝗧𝗏, 𝗪𝗏, Brahmagiri are from Karnataka, whereas 𝗏𝗏 is from Madhya Pradesh, another minor inscription. Ashoka gave a lot of inscriptions and edicts. His contributions to art and culture is substantial. In total, Ashoka gave 33 inscriptions. These inscriptions were deciphered by James Princip, East India Company period. Ashoka's edicts actually talk about his policies, his accomplishments, and his ideas. There are 14 major, 7 pillar edicts, and also many minor pillar edicts. Edict is basically like a slab or like a pillar on which a text is written. Okay. In Afghanistan, Ashoka used Greek and Aramaic scripts. In Pakistan, Punjab section, he used Prakrit language, Kharosthi script. The rest of India, we see Ashoka using Prakrit and Brahmi script. Now, this is interesting because Ashoka during his period did give emphasis on the language and the script which was being used by people in that particular region. Elephant pillar is in Rajagriha, horse pillar is in Lumbini, bull pillar in Rampurva, wheel pillar in Pataliputra. He was in fact the first king to leave records on stone, to leave records which are not basically just about the king but also about the society and what people did in that society. Most popular Ashoka's pillar is the Sarnath lion capital, the 4-lion capital, which today is the emblem of India. There is another inscription in Ranipurva, the single line inscription near Laura Nandgad region of Bihar, which is also very popular Ashoka's inscription. In total, there are 33 inscriptions. Generally, all the inscriptions talk about Ashoka Dhamma. Ashoka Dhamma is basically a universal law, not similar to the Buddha Dhamma. This part don't get confused. Ashoka is a Buddhist, but he had his own idea of Dhamma. He promoted a code of conduct, code of ethics, emphasized on non-violence, promoted mutual respect, believed in cooperation and encouraged cooperation among the people of his kingdom. Ashoka Dhamma emphasizes on social ethics, behavioral ethics among the people, and also on dignity of human life. As I said before, so these inscriptions use different languages at different regions based on whichever language is used. Next question. Who among the following was the first ruler to inscribe his message to his subjects and officials on stone surfaces, natural rocks and polished pillars? Bimbisara, Bindusara, Ashoka, Chandragupta Maurya. We've just seen this. It was Ashoka. Bimbisara belonged to Magadha. Bindusara, Ashoka, Chandragupta Maurya belonged to Mauryan Empire. Ashoka was obviously the first greatest ruler to actually give his information on stone slabs and inscriptions. And during his period, Kalinga war was also fought in the state of Kalinga, and Ashoka emphasized on a set of edicts and set of ethics known as Dhamma. And to promote Dhamma, he gave many inscriptions. There are other inscriptions which are very important for your prelims, special for prelims in match the following type questions. Allahabad inscription basically is a queen edict given during Gupta period, talks about Ashoka and his rule. Girnar inscription given by Rudradaman in the post-Ashoka period, Shakas. Kandahar bilingual inscription uses two languages, Greek and Aramaic, given during Mauryan period. Nigali Sagar inscription in Nepal talks about Ashoka's visit to Nepal. Ruminde pillar inscription in Nepal talks about how Ashoka visited Lumbini and made Lumbini tax-free because Lumbini was the birthplace of Buddhism. Also, Sannati inscription in Karnataka given during the Mauryan period gives a lot of information about the Mauryan kings. Next question. Which of the following are the causes for the decline of Mauryan Empire? What is the reason for the decline of Mauryan Empire? Alexander's invasion from northwest, the spread of iron tools and weapons in the outlying areas, Brahmanical reaction against the policies of Ashoka, financial crisis owing to maintain a huge army. Select the correct answers from the codes given below. 1, 2 and 4, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 3 and 4. More than, sometimes you can have 5 options as well. I've just given you an example pattern of that. More than one of the above and none of the above. Now answer will be 2, 3 and 4, which is the spread of iron tools, the Brahmanical reaction of policies of Ashoka, financial crisis owing to maintenance of huge army. If you remember, Alexander's invasion is actually an event pre-Ashoka or pre-Maurya. So Alexander invaded India approximately around 326 BC. Mauryans do not come to existence until 321 BC. So Mauryans only come to existence around 321 BC. The decline of Mauryan dynasty in 232 BC was rather rapid with the death of Ashoka, and the last Mauryan king, remember, was Brihadratha, who was assassinated by Pushyamitra Shunga, who was a Brahmin. That is why one of the main reasons which is given for the decline of Mauryan state is Brahmanical reaction. Brahmanical reaction to Ashoka's emphasis on Dhamma and Ahimsa. Main decline, if you observe, it begins in 232 BC when Ashoka died. Ashoka died in 232 BC and Ashoka died a natural death. And within the next 40 years, by approximately 185 BC, Mauryan state was done, was finished. Ashoka's descendants, including Dasharatha, were also known for their inscriptions, but nothing really contributing or nothing really big. The last known Maurya is Brihadratha, who was eventually killed by his general Pushyamitra Shunga, who also happened to be a Brahmanical. Main causes for the decline of Mauryan state: Brahmanical reaction, reaction against Dhamma Mahamattas, because Dhamma Mahamattas were trying to emphasize and impose Ashoka Dhamma, which included non-violence. Like, for example, animal sacrifice was prohibited across the kingdom. And without animal sacrifice, Brahmanical community could not do any yagnas or rituals. Also, Brahmanical people challenged the new social order of equality among people. They also rejected Mauryas as the rulers, because Mauryas were also the first Shudra kings, Shudra emperors in India. Also, there was provincial oppression, basically corruption by Dushyamatyas, which is corrupt officers. Amatya means officer, Dushya, bad officers. And Ashokan kingdom was very large and it was too much, too big to manage. Also, the finances of the state were very expensive, and to maintain such a big kingdom, they had to bring a huge amount of army. One biggest contribution of the Mauryan Empire, which you can remember for your prelims, is contribution and development of material life and culture. Ashoka's Mauryan Empire eventually ended into three parts. In the south, which is Maharashtra, northern Karnataka, Telangana section, we see Shatavahanas. In the central, which is Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh provinces, we see Shunga, Kanwa, also going up until Bengal. And in the east, the Kalingas were succeeded by Chettis, and Chettis took independence between the 232 BC to 185 BC. Shatavahanas in Andhra, Telangana, Shungas in Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Chettis in Odisha, Kalinga section. This period after the end of Mauryas is where we see the beginning of disintegration of the kingdoms in India, and also the beginning of post-Mauryan dynasties. In the post-Mauryan dynasties, which we will be seeing in the next video, post-Mauryan dynasties actually contribute substantially for the development of a heterogeneous society in India. Mauryans created a homogeneous society where the society followed only one culture, one tradition, one model, like one nation, one state, one kingdom model. But thanks to post-Mauryan people, we had a lot of external invasions from Greeks, Central Asia, the Shakas, Parthians, even Chinese, Kushanas. All of these people came, they integrated into India and eventually formed what we today call a heterogeneous society. Post-Mauryan contribution is very important for your exam in particularly art and culture and also the kings and kingdoms. So finally, the decline reasons of Mauryas are, after Chandragupta, there was lack of focus on northwest frontiers. Basically, one biggest trigger other than the Brahminical reactions is Mauryan kingdom looked like this. This area was never emphasized on. So naturally, all the external invaders, Central Asian tribes, entered India like this, via the Hindu Kush mountains. They entered India and invaded us. Mauryans were entirely focusing here from Bindusara's period. These were nomadic tribes like Scythians, Parthians and 𝗧𝗎𝗎s. 𝗧𝗎s are the ones whom we call Kushanas. Now a question has come previously in previous year question, why did these people come only during this period? Because previously these Central Asian tribes, which is tribes of the region present day Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, used to invade China. But China built the Great Wall of China to avoid these invaders. The Chinese king Shi Huangdi built the Great Wall of China. Once Great Wall of China was built, these Central Asian nomadic tribes had no other place but to invade India. And given that India was not secure in this place, they easily entered India and invaded us. At the right time, Ashoka was also dead. There was nobody to protect us. And these Central Asian tribes and communities just came and sat in these places. Okay. Last question, guys. In the context of Mauryan period, party Vedakas were, this is a terminology and previous year question, officers in charge of propagation of Ashoka's Dhamma, officers for the interpretation of laws, officers were responsible to report the affairs of the people, more than one of the above. The answer for this question is party Vedakas were basically a type of intelligence officers or secret emissaries or secret information officers. They were responsible to report about the affairs of the people on regular basis to the king. In fact, party Vedakas were also supported by another group called Pulisanj. Party Vedakas were secret emissaries who inquired into and oversaw all that went into the empire. They were appointed to report about the day-to-day affairs to of the people at all times to Ashoka. In fact, the office was itself started in Ashoka's period. Pativedakas were emissaries. Pulisanjas were more like IB, Information Bureau or Intelligence Bureau, which is specifically directly reports to the king. This entire secret service, these Pativedakas and Pulisans, were part of a department called Gudha Purusha or spy agency. Okay, so that's it in this session of Mauryan empires, guys, and we've discussed different kings, different administrative features of Mauryans. Let us see post Maurya in the next session. Thank you. Bye bye.